Hello, everybody. Welcome to another AMA with Medieval Empires. My name is Raza, and with me today are our art team superstars. First of all, our art director, Joaquin Royo, who has been on our AMAs before, and with him, our 3D artist, Paul, who is pretty much involved. Like, these guys are the masterminds behind whatever you experience in terms of art and the styling of the game. So, today's AMA is going to give you a behind the scenes insight into like how I mean, the game has been being built for like quite some time now, but we are constantly improving the graphics as well as the way the game looks. I think last time when Ching was here, he was also sort of outlining that considering we are also now developing for mobile, we are enhancing the way the UI UX works in the mobile. So to keep that uniformity in the PC version as well or the Mac version as well, we are also sort of adjusting the things in the existing PC and Mac version as well. To but other than that as well, we are developing more buildings. We are refining the existing art, and for that, I think I will hand it over to Joachim and Paul to sort of talk a little bit more about it and show as well that what actually goes behind developing all of this. So Joachim, take it over.
Hi, everybody, and thank you, Razan, for passing me the word. And as well, thank you for our listeners that are just in at the other side of the screen, and they are very interested on what we are doing in Medieval Empire, and as well what our team, especially now that we are talking about the artists, what we are doing behind stage. We see that now in our game we have two factions running, like Turkish Kayi Tribe, and as well British Crusaders. And from all these production, we've learned plenty of things, and especially as I said as well, we are orienting as well our artwork and everything to mobile. So what we learned from PC, working from PC, and now just developing the visuals on UI as well. That means that we need to touch buildings and a series of artwork just to make fit in both platforms, PC and mobile. So that's why we are revising the assets and as well animations and everything, just that to please our audience as well. Okay, so I would like to give before I introduce you some stuff, give the word to Paul, that he is mainly in charge of reproducing from our concept art that Pedro is doing just great on that, and after just sorting kind of technical limitations and make them feel in scaling within our game. So I would like to pass the word on to Paul, so he probably can explain us what he is doing right now, modifications and everything, just to fit PC and mobile, and as well new content that is coming next. So would you like Paul to
Yeah,
give us a hint about what we are doing on that?
yeah. Hello. Uh, Hi. So yeah, what I have here is a scene with all the buildings that we have in game.
Mhm.
This is the Crusader side of the buildings, and those are the Turkish buildings.
So these are the bare bone design, like the grayscale design you start sort of developing on this particular
Yeah,
mode.
this is exactly this is the raw kind of
Hmm.
building that is modeled based on Pedro's concept. So yeah,
So
this
yeah,
would be
just so I can add a little bit here, like first our artist Pedro, who has also been on AMS before, he hand draws or like digitally draws basically these all objects, and then
yeah.
it goes through like our team, and they all consult with it. Then once those hand drawn things are sort of then converted into 3D digital art by Paul, as we are talking about. So yeah, Paul, continue.
Yeah, I'm taking Pedro's drawings and I'm just modeling the
Mhm.
3D version of what he does. And now we had some work to do with the scaling, and we have this kind of custom basic character that we based all the built-in scaling on, so everything matches, so everything is in a good relationship with other buildings or other characters. Yeah, and this is the Turkish side. It's a bit of a crowded
Bare
place.
bones, very bare bones. Yeah.
Yeah. This is just the raw modeling, and I
But
have
that's the fun part as well. Like I was also thinking that you guys are not just drawing, like, for example, if you're drawing stable, you're not just drawing one stable. You're drawing the level one stable, then you are drawing level five stable, then you're drawing like one building actually goes through different stages, because obviously as the players are progressing in our game, they are sort of enhancing their buildings, and their buildings sort of change in that way they look, as well as they are becoming more and more powerful in the game as well. And both, like, not just Kayi Tribe, like Kayi Tribe stables look very different versus the Crusader stables very different. So like you are designing every building actually multiple times, I would say, right?
yeah, everything is done, every model and every level of the same building is done separately,
Oh
individually. So
wow, wow,
yeah.
wow.
So
And
this would be an example. For example, this is the hospital. This one,
Hmm.
the first row, the Turkish
Let's zoom
hospital.
in. Let's zoom in a little bit and like show like
Yeah.
by one by one.
So this would be
So this
level
is the
one.
basic version when you enter the
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
So this would be level one. This would be level two, and so on. So every upgrade, every level increases the main building and the building surrounding, like satelliting the main building,
Yeah. Yeah.
and adding more cluster, more objects, more, you know.
And the more powerful your town is, obviously, the better the buildings and the more upgraded buildings you will have, obviously.
Exactly, yes. Like some of
Amazing.
them, on the higher levels, you gain walls surrounding the building,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or towers guarding the building, and so on the higher levels, I mean. And
So much detail that goes into it. Yeah.
yeah, like what I this is the one that I like, is the library for my
Hmm.
personal
Yeah, it,
library.
it 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 looks very, and again, like this is not such just something which we are like doing whatever we like. We also look at
Of course.
historical context as well. That
Yeah.
like when Pedro is drawing these things, and then you are making into 3D, we also look into like double. There's a double-edged sword that first we have to see that historically it also matches something. Like we can't make skyscrapers in
Of course.
medieval Turkey, but we also need to make sure that they also fit in our game style as well. Like it's just not something which is like we just taking out of historical context and throwing it in the game. We sort
Yeah,
of
no,
balance both of these things.
yeah,
exactly. It's not made just by imagination, but
I would like to add as well that we, before we started designing, we had a lot of brainstorming, just making clear decisions
research.
about how this is going to look. So we create mood boards, we create whiteboards where we post references of buildings, even characters that we see later on. So when we design it that it fits historically correct, but as well it fits with the purpose of the game. Here, what you see from Polis, all this leveling up of the buildings. And something that our audience need to know, our players, is that when we decide leveling up, we are not doing one after the other one. We take a range of 10. So let's say, how is going to look this building in 10 levels? So we see that the progression corresponds from the last one from to the next one in 10 range, so that it could be a lot of time spent by the players just until they get the right level. But this is how we work. A lot of planning, decision making, and it's not just me as a director. It's all the artists are helping on that, and they making decisions. And I like to listen to them because they have brilliant ideas. So after they do their job on their own, because they are so experienced, they know so much what works in the game, that every input is good. So, and this is the effort altogether that the players can see when they see a new asset or character in the game.
Amazing, amazing. So
Yeah.
Paul, like then once like you have drawn these like in the grayscale, then you also like colored them up like as per the faction or the
Yeah.
overall theme of the town as well, right?
Yeah. Then I have to texture the buildings. That's also something that we researched before for the materials that they used
Mm-hmm.
on that period, and also the time and the area that they
Mm-hmm.
use that material. So we have to be careful on that. And what I kind of enjoy in this process is the that we also have to think forward, like in the future. Like we build until level 7, let's say, but we
Mm-hmm.
also need to keep in mind an probably existing level 15 in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to
Mm-hmm.
give some space for future upgrade.
Iterations of it, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And yeah, then I have texturing the buildings, which is here.
Oh,
But
wow.
those are not textured because those are upcoming. It's not
I think this is
ready.
also very interesting. Like see
No.
the minute details that go into like even like some of them are done, but like some of them are being done one by one. It's not like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. It's
No,
intricate
it's
work
individual.
which takes time.
It's
Yeah.
individually, and those are upcoming. Those are level 7, and it is work in progress. So those are not ready. And I think on level 6, on some of them needs a bit of tweaking, but
Uh-huh.
they're like 99% done. The level
Can you
7, all
again
the
show
other
the
level 1
hospitals
to
in this
5.
one when you were showing the hospitals in the gray one? Can you show the colored version of the hospitals?
Yeah, this is the
Yeah, just
Crusader hospital.
the Crusade, yeah, but still, yeah, wow, okay. So these are the camps, and then eventually, as you
Yeah,
grow your level, your hospital becomes like a more of a stable building.
yeah. It
Nice
becomes like in the beginning, it's more like a camp. Then it's
camp,
come more
yeah,
like a hut, like a small
hut,
hut, and
yeah.
then that hut becomes kind of a house, and then a bigger building, and so on.
And the work in progress is like proper hospital situation happening there.
It's going to be, yeah, exactly,
Nice,
exactly. And like I said, look, this is the archery.
yeah.
Uh, the same, the archery in the level 1 is more like a camp, which then turns into a bigger, more
Training
complex
center,
kind of a unit.
more
Yeah, yeah,
army
with
training center.
yeah,
Something to
exactly, with
remind
walls and
players as
towers.
well is that all those buildings, assets are color coding. So at a glance, when you see the city or every different buildings, you'll see that for the Crusaders is red and white, and for the Turkish Kayi Tribe, mainly blue. So that doesn't mean that every asset is red, white, or blue, but eh, at a glance you can perceive that okay, this is my city, or those are my tropes, or something interesting that the players bear in mind.
Yes,
Very
exactly. And
nice.
yeah, and also the grounds that we are working on, the ground under
Mhm.
each building is different. Every kind of building has its own unique grounds. Like, for example, the stables. I'm not sure if it's visible here because of the light, but the stables ground have, uh, how
More
do you call
like,
it?
yeah, sandy, gravelly sort of situation happening there.
No, but
I
I
can
mean this kind of, from the horse. How do you call it?
Yes, the hoof steps, the footsteps
Yeah,
of the horse. Yeah.
yeah, on the mud. So everything is individually made to fit the building that it's representing, and this will be also available for the Turkish side, which is this one, textured, and yeah.
Nice. What do you think, like, as artists, like, do you think there's a difference between designing for a PC game versus a mobile game, particularly like when you're designing these buildings or you're upgrading these buildings or revising these designs which you made for a PC game versus now we are also going for multi-platform? Is there a big difference or it's just like a little bit of small differentiation there?
I don't think the difference will be very big. Small
Very big.
difference.
Uh-huh. A
I
very
don't
small
think.
difference, so like people are more able to sort of understand it very clearly because again the screen is different, right? Like on a big
Yeah.
screen you can see, you can zoom in a little too much. On mobile it's still limited. But
It,
yeah,
it is a bit limited, yeah, because you won't see small details. So
yeah.
we're gonna probably see more because a model is split up in
Hmm.
three
Mm-hmm.
details, like big details, medium, and small. So
Mm-hmm.
probably on the mobile, the small ones won't be very visible, but we will work more on the big forms and the medium forms of
Mm-hmm.
the model.
Nice, nice. Anything else, Joachim, you guys are working on other than like the town building element of these things?
Yeah, and it's like Polly is saying it just to make it fit in our game, and as well that it fits in both platforms, PC and mobile. Paul is doing a hard work as well, trying to reduce the amount of polygons on the assets. So something that work at the first glance. Probably when it becomes very small, there are other details that we don't see. So what Paul is doing is just say, okay, this is not really necessary. Just when minimizing the asset, we don't even see it. Just let take off polygons that are not really necessary. What it makes us as well is to gain space in the future for more memory to the server, or as we plan that our game is going to be huge. Now we have two factions, but let's imagine when we have 10 factions or
Hmm.
20 factions, right? I mean, this is so much memory consuming that we need now that we have those learnings to apply whatever that is not becoming a bottleneck in the future. So now is the right time for that. So aside of that, we are working on the buildings as Paul is showing here, and let's see. I'm gonna share
Sure.
my screen as well. Okay.
But it's fascinating that how, like, when we are
Okay.
playing the game and we don't really realize that a lot of things are going on, but in the back
Yeah.
of the entire thing, there's like many minute details we have to sort of take care of. But yeah,
Following
Joachim.
Paul was saying here, our
Yes.
players can see from the very beginning how we start with really. Can you hear
Hand
me?
drawing it completely. Yes.
Unknown, it's just blocks that
Yeah.
say, okay, the main part of the building is there, and after
Hmm.
we just get rid of some stuff, and we see, okay, how many props we can add, some satellite good things around, or even peasants walking around. We take that decision here. If you see, it's very simple, but after we start complicate things up, and you see Pedro has done an amazing work here, because look the amount of detail and comprehension. So we need to inspire the following artists. We are a team that we are working together, and we keep this team spirit, just helping the next profession to be accurate on their work. So those are, for
Hmm.
example, some of the examples of the library building. Some of them they are created differently, but after we
Hmm.
need to have a decision, so we validate in our art scene meetings every week, so until we really reach the thing that say, okay, this is going to be something exciting for our players. Here's what Paul showed, just block
Hmm.
out in
Great.
black and white, and
Yeah.
after when you put the colors on it, and after as well the textures, you have buildings like that. That
Wow.
like this is amazing. So this is basically the whole process and what's happening, you know, behind the stage. The players don't see that, but is a hard work behind, and as well we pay attention to details, be meticulous, and just making something that we really like to play with.
I mean,
So
that's the whole object of the game of creating a medieval world where when players are playing it, they feel like, oh yeah, they are in the medieval world and like seeing the historical buildings and everything there as well.
yeah, so here you can see how this worked.
Wow, wow.
And it's just amazing. We need like we're not in a film, we are in a game, but we like that the player feels like in a film, that they can be part of the story. So we are doing so much work, just aiming to achieve this. And okay, this is well, the our players can see all our panels with all decision making that you can see here. It's just we write notes, we
And
take
each and every one of them is actually hand drawn at one point and then created in design and then colored and textured. So imagine like how much time actually each one of them actually takes.
they are very cute. I know the artists are doing a great work, and I'm getting excited. This is what makes me say, okay, I want to come to work next day because let's see what
Yeah.
we as a team can achieve together. It's
And I think if we, Joachim, I think you have been working with us for so long and now, like since the very beginning almost. And if we see the very first version of the game when we started
oh,
it, and like from that to right now, and hopefully it will keep get better and better as we progress. It's a remarkable effort, and I think it's a testament to our team, and overall development team as well, that they care about like the user experience and the overall quality of the game that is coming out for the public.
that's right. That's right. Okay, so this is all the elements that are going to be participating in the scene when we create our city and we are leveling up buildings that
Yeah.
are according to our game progress. But it's not just the buildings. After we need our actors there. So
Hmm.
for that, I'm gonna show you these. Our community is more kind of like um, used to see our units going around.
Hmm.
So the same
Hmm.
as well, the same thing. We have the concept colored and making like it was going to be participating in an illustration, but after or 3D artists, we have two 3D artists are very based on characters like is Oliver and Kelvin are doing
Yes.
this translation here into 3D. They work on T-pose, okay, according to the result of the concept. But after there are the technical limitations as well as it's been said, we can see so much detail in a small screen like a PC or
Yeah.
even in a mobile. So we need to make decisions about how we deal with the characters. But once in the game, they look just awesome.
Yes.
And something that our players would like to see is that we enlarge our research units. So we invite other, let's say, factions, secondary factions by now that will help our main factions. For example, we are in the game are Crusaders, British Crusaders, but we thought as well that it's going to be good that they get the help of the French Crusaders. So this is something that is gonna,
Hmm.
and you see, this is all the things that we've been looking for, details, references, they were dressed up, and as well how they will be the color domination. French Crusaders, when we see this royal blue coming up, but say, okay, but Turkish have
Blue
blue as
color as
well.
well.
So we
Yeah.
need to make a decision on that, and we need to understand that they are Crusaders, but they are French as well. So we did just looking for shapes, language. We recognize that they are Crusaders, and after we put some colors of that. So we thought that okay, what really means or define a Crusader is the shape, is those sword, the helmet, the cross, and everything. So we did plenty of different posing just to be accurate as well when we put it in a game that we understand they are crusaders but they are French as well. So this is basically what we choose. This is the character, and as well some testing on the light proportions and everything, and we came up with this kind of guy here. We make studies about because our artists work from all over the world, in fact. So
Yes.
our monitors are different calibrated. How we recognize, how we know that the textures that we are using and the colors are exactly the same in every screen. So there's a study as well. So we pass color codes, so everyone knows exactly what the colors we are using. And I think that our players would like to see this. Here we have the archers there. Okay, we create different of them. So in the game, we want to see one character, but the players have to think that there have been other characters that been worked parallelly, and finally we make the decisions to do those. So this is how we start. Just basic when we design the characters is basically anatomy, lines of actions, proportions, stagings. That we believe in those characters. They are 2D, but they need to convince us that they are be our actors in the game. I do some value sketch, working with just grays, and after we put the colors we think it may fit in our game. So this is the one that's been decided,
Selected, yeah.
and Kelvin did this wonderful work on those.
So now, like, you have decided the art version, the hand-drawn version of it, then Kelvin goes into and start doing the 3D work on this thing.
Exactly. So if you
Wow.
see something that is that the players have to understand, there are typos. It's like it's just very flat and with open arms,
Hmm.
and and this is basically the 3D with all the polygons that after is going to be rigged by our 3D artist Oliver,
3D art.
and they are going to be putting bones here or whatever they is going to be.
Oliver was showing me something yesterday, actually. Oliver did show me something when the guy was like jumping over the horse, like he was showing me the animations
That's
yesterday.
right.
It's
That's right.
it's very interesting.
When we put all the
So
bones there that allow us to animate, it's going
yeah,
to the acting, to the animation. They die, they defeat, they fight, they do amazing things. So this is something that we have there, and I like to show you as well because we've done something similar, but as well with uh, research units that are going to be helping
ah,
the
the
the Turk.
Turkish tribe, like the
Yes,
Turkish Kayi tribes, yeah,
this is the Bayan tribe.
by
The
art
Bayan
tribe, okay.
tribe. Yes. So here you can see the archer.
And they will be unlocked by doing the research
That's right.
in the research academy. Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And well, this is as well what we had historically, and as well from the museums and whatever. And this is basically what we came up with. Again, from something simple like sketches. Okay,
Mm,
after giving them personality, and after full color, and after the 3D work. We've done the same thing with infantry, but as well with archery, as you can see here. So it's curious because these guys here, we're not gonna see them in the game by now probably, but we see just one. But look at the amount of work that it represents just backstage.
it does, yeah.
Yes. And how we can excite our players unless that we ourselves, the artists, are excited with what we do. So that's basically it, right? And here is the same thing. Okay, and finally we decide to work with this guy here. So here you
Uh-huh.
have the typos as well. From what we get, we make decisions as well. We retouch here and there until we have something that really stands the line and say, okay, this is how we would like to see it in a game. Okay, so that's basically it. Um,
Yeah, I think I mean, I am usually in these meetings, so I get to see that, but I think our players only see, like, when we are, like, when they're playing the game, they see the final product, like, they don't get to see the whole behind the scenes. And honestly, it's fascinating to see, like, how just a bare bones concept or a hand drawn element, and sometimes, like, from the marketing team or the product team, like, people come to you and they say, like, oh, we have this idea and we want to, like, put this in the game and we want to show it like that. And you guys take that brief, do your research, then come up with something, and you show us that, hey, this is how it will look like, be it like the characters, like the Engin and the Lela and all other, like, the Crusader characters, like the Longshanks and everything, like how they have sort of refined over time, and how they are being portrayed in the game, as well as in our marketing communications as well. So I think it's amazing to see. Thank you so much, Joachim and Paul, to take time out of your very busy schedule. I know you guys are working on a lot of stuff, and thank you so much. And hopefully, if and to our viewers and our players, if you have any questions for our art team, write to us, and we will definitely include those questions and ask your questions to them directly and give you some more answers. And if you want to see something else, let us know. Thank you so much. Hopefully, see you next time in the AMA again. Have a good one. Bye.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much, everyone.